Alright, so here we are. We've got the base of the chair completely unwrapped, if you will, ready to go. It was folded, it was plastic, it kind of fits, and it was taped over, a little clunky to get off. It's not a big deal, that's not a piece of plastic you'd care to save or anything. This is the top side. How do you know that? Number one, you're going to have your Clutch logo here. You're also going to have these chevrons visible. A lot of people would be inclined to go ahead and snap those things in right now. You do not want to do that, and here's why. We don't have the casters in, so we're going to spin this over. And of course, if you spot these little circular areas here right at the point, that's where our casters are going to go in. Now, my first complaint on this chair, everything has been packed very, very well. We basically have, let me switch hands here. All of our components from the box within the box have been in Ziploc bags, which has been great. However, the casters themselves came in this bag. Not a big deal. Again, I'm just, like I said, I paid for this, so I will nitpick it. And, the thing is, it was stapled. That's not a big deal. My only thing is, if you don't like cut the bottom and just let them drop out, you will have loose staples potentially in your carpet, which if you do this on a carpeted surface, might be hard to track it down, so keep that in mind. Very, very minor thing. That said, since I am on a carpeted surface, I don't really have to do anything. When I press these casters in, it's insulated by the carpet. If you were on tile, linoleum, hardwood floor particularly, any surface that is going to have a chance whenever you come in and apply weight to a caster at that point could potentially either mar the finish on your base or mar the finish on your floor surface. Go ahead, as the box suggested, either use the cardboard or one of the thicker foam pieces to kind of insulate that, if you will. Also, at this point in time, I should mention, if you just pull this off of your front porch or into your garage, think about where you're going to have this. This is not something you want to assemble in the kitchen and then carry up the stairs fully assembled. Make it easy on yourself. Think a little bit before you jump right in. Same thing if you're going to put it in your office or your spare bedroom you use as a studio. Don't assemble it in the living room. Just go ahead and take it to the final destination and work from there. So what we want to do, though, is grab these casters. They're pretty nice, non-marring surface. I assume they'll hold up fine on this carpet. We'll actually kind of wait and see. My nephew's chair rolls very well. So once again, you want to take this end, of course, and we're simply going to place it like so, and we should have a satisfying snap. Well, maybe not. I guess that is fully installed, so it sort of just seats itself. No, it doesn't. Alright. It's so awkward with a camera in your hand. Alright, there we go. Yeah, I think we're good. That is in fact good. So there's no snap. If I remember right, the DX Racer snapped. Let's go ahead and do another one as I awkwardly reach across here. Once again, we just want to take the time to fully seat it. And it's kind of awkward with the camera, but it's also strange because it feels like the caster is rolling. So the best thing I found to do just now is just kind of use your thumb, establish a firm point right there. Should be home free. So I'm going to go ahead and finish out these other three. We'll flip it back over. We'll put in the blue inlaid chevrons and then the faux bolt hole covers. So we'll be back. So much easier with two hands to do that. So again, I can confirm there is no snap to just slide in. It's sort of got the retention collar placed on the ring. It swivels amazingly well on the carpet, so if it rolls good here, it's going to roll excellent on any flat, smooth surface. Only issue you might have is if you've got grouted tile, you might have a situation where that's kind of a holdup for you. But what we want to do now, obviously our chevrons go here, but you'll note right above the Clutch logo, there's a hole there. You kind of follow the bolt hole circle, your lugs, if you will. They've actually gone ahead. This isn't necessary, really, but it will just kind of complete the color scheme. So let's go ahead and grab one of these. Again, it just sort of looks like, it imitates a bolt head, if you will. It's a decorative piece. There's the back side. So we'll just snap it in place. There you go. It's not the snuggest feel in the world, but the truth of the matter is this base is always, hopefully, barring anything stupid, going to be having gravity on its side, so they shouldn't pop out. If they do, you can find them. If they get lost, it's not a big deal. Finished product, looks like that. So the chevrons themselves, actually, and this was interesting to me, they don't have any snaps here, which maybe they seat. Yeah, I guess it's just a snug fit. That is interesting. I'm thinking this was a revision at some point, or they're going to revise it. You know, we just saw the bolts, if you will, the lugs, which granted they don't fit well anyway. But right here, there's no snaps, you know, sort of molded with the plastic. So right here, what we've got to do, and I'll try to illustrate it for you, it's just a snug fit. Again, they're sort of relying on gravity, is what I take from it. So it does make it very easy. Again, no snap, no click, nothing like that. But that is it, man. That's how simple it is to get your base. And again, for me, this extends the color scheme of the seat band and the backrest. And I think it looks fine. I think it looks good. Again, if you're not going this route, if you're not doing a blue, green, red, orange, yellow, pink, purple, I get the complaint. Otherwise, I think this is kind of the way to go. So that's just my take, but let's go ahead and move on to the next steps. Alright, so we got our first little discrepancy here. It's a fairly significant one, I would say. As you can see on the directions here, they're wanting us to remove the 4 M8 bolts that are already installed on the backrest. Literally just pull the backrest out of said bag. There's nothing already installed on either side. Now, the catch being we've got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them sitting over there in our little hardware kits. And my next thing is like, oh man, I bet those are supposed to be used for the, you know, base, right? Right here on the next step, it's wanting us, so I guess we've got the side covers and everything, but as you can see there, it's saying remove the 4 M8 bolts installed under the seat pan. Luckily, these 4 in the middle, if you will, the 1, 2, 3, 4, essentially there, and the corresponding vertical components, that's what they want us to remove. These other 3 hold on the armrests, of course. So since those are there, we should be fine. We can use those 4. I assume they probably gave us a spare type of a thing, sort of cover, if say there were only 3 of these. Not sure why that's so blurry. But so that's what I will do, is I'll actually, instead of pulling these, I will take them out of the kit. I have to say this might be something they revise later on. I wouldn't want these pre-installed, because that's going to be something that could easily scuff your fabric, tear the packaging, just cause more troubles than it's worth. Where they are at there, that's the way to do it. These I'm fine with. They're not going anywhere. There's nothing to tear up. This is at the very bottom of the box. Having that in place just kind of seems like more of a hazard. So I think we're fine on the hardware count, but it is a discrepancy with the directions, so be aware of that. Haven't done the gas part. I'm technically doing it out of order just because it makes sense to me to not do that until the base is installed. But we will, I guess, loosen these, come in, get this put together, and take it from there. Oh man, they did a good thing here. Not only is this an M8 hex for it, the other side is actually a Phillips, a number 2. So you essentially have no tools needed if you're not equipped, if you're at a dorm, an apartment, a friend's house, whatever it may be. If you don't have tools, everything, it's all inclusive right here. When you open this, do it the smart way. Make sure everything is in its selective groove, if you will. I've gone in, I've repositioned the washers, but very nice assembly here. And this is what we're going to need to attach just 4 of these bad boys. That means they did, in fact, give us a spare. Always nice. Should we need one later on down the line. The instructions didn't really do a good job of showcasing whether they wanted a flat and a lock. We've got some here. I don't know what else it would be used for. I'm the type of person, when I put things together, we go flat lock, and then we use a nylon lock nut on the back side. Don't have that here. It's just going to thread in, but I do want to go ahead and use a flat and a lock. So that is what we're going to do. Essentially, what I will be threading into the chair will look like this. We're going to have the M8 head, we're going to have the lock washer, we're going to have the flat washer. Pay attention, since these are kind of imported, you will have a dull side and a shiny side. Yes, these will be covered by a piece of plastic, but take pride in what you do. I always, particularly with everything I do at work and in automotive stuff, I like to have the shiny side out because it just is aesthetically better to look at. So that's what we're gonna do here. And again, that sort of mimics what they've done from the factory. You can kind of see the head, and then we got a lock in the flat with the frame. So basically, we are going to come in and position everything here. Obviously, we're going to have slots 1 and 2 utilized there, and that's what we will do. So I'll position this. It's going to require 2 hands, but basically this will be external. This brackets will be the outside, so we're going to actually have the seat back positioned here where my fingers are. Of course, same thing on the other side. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, I will say this was a bit of a pain. I don't remember it being quite as difficult with the DX Racer. Since these were not threaded in, I don't agree with them being threaded in on the left, but possibly threaded in. The fabric is it's a good fabric, right? So it's kind of difficult to work with. You can start threading it in. The trick is, as one person, you're essentially trying to hold this upright to line the holes up. This is a fixed position up top. The bottom one is slotted, so you have your leeway. It's best to start with the slotted one, then come in with the fixed, cinch them down kind of hand tight, go over to the other side, get in place, and then final tighten everything. This center piece here, that is actually going to be for our number 2 screw. You can kind of see right here the piece. These indents you see above and below where the screw will thread through, those are designed to sort of fit over our hex head bolts, if you will. And this basically just loosely positions in place. My advice, come in with a flashlight on your phone. Make sure it's lined up. You'll have a much easier time starting the bolt that way. That's what we're going to do on this side, and as I spin this one-handed, this will be the final result. So all this is, we've got it positioned in place, went ahead and popped in that little cap cover. That's that though, and once we get that done, I guess we will move on to assembling the base and then putting the chair into its final position. Alright, so it is now time to take on these 4 bolts here. We're going to remove them, and then we want the mechanism to fit as illustrated. It'll only fit 2 ways. That means we have 1 chance to screw it up. But if you note, with the backrest on and it pointing towards the ground, as we have it now, what we need to do is we want to have the rotating piece, I guess, what is it, tilt tension that you can see there. We want it to be towards the front where our legs are going to go. And then we want the lever that is going to be sort of the paddle right there. We want it on this upper corner. So essentially, I need to rotate this, and it should go just like this. So we have the paddle lever there, we've got whatever that one is, and then here at the bottom, sort of right in the middle of the chair, closer to where our legs will go down, that's where you want your tilt and tension. So this is the orientation we're going to go with, and we will simply remove these bolts, put this in place, and obviously I think I'm going to need 2 hands for that, so I'll be back when we got it done. Alright, got that set up. Again, the back rest is right there. Coming down, if you've got it oriented in the same manner, on your left side you're going to have this flat lever. Again, there's text obviously on the front side. Sort of your paddle is going to be on that side, and then your tilt and tension here coming down to the bottom again where your legs will come off of the seat pan. That's sort of the orientation of the mechanism. Now, basically all we have to do is put the gas adjust there in the middle. We're going to have obviously the narrow end go here, the broad end go in the base, and I'll grab those pieces and we'll take a look at it. Alright, so here's our cylinder. Obviously we've got one end that's narrow, one end that's thick. We want to put the thick end in the base. It just sort of seats itself like so. This end here, if you will, the shaft, we're going to set the seat pan, basically this entire upper assembly, onto this piece. Should be home free. Obviously, again, I'm going to need both hands for that, so we will be right back. And nearly forgot to mention this weird sort of cheap seeming plastic cup. Need that on here now. You don't want to miss that step. So doesn't look great, but again, it basically just covers up the cylinder, so it's not a big deal. So now again, we're just going to mate these 2 pieces and have ourselves a chair. And that's where chairs come from.